So there we have it. The Nike Tempo Next Percent after 100 plus miles, and the AirPods broke again. Now, we're going to talk about what's good and what's bad with this particular model, but we need to obviously address the elephant in the room. So let's get into it. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Filip Latocha, and today we are obviously talking about the Nike Tempo Next Percent after 100 plus miles. And basically the end of life of this pair of shoe that I own. Obviously, because stuff, you know? You'll see in a minute here. So before we get into it, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're already subscribed to the channel. Thanks so much. Love you guys a lot. Make sure you follow me on Instagram, Strava for all sorts of various updates, training, and things like that. So I guess we'll start with the bottoms of the shoes in this particular case, as you will see at 100 plus miles. If you've seen previous reviews of this shoe, I guess on this channel, which I have probably like at least 10 videos now for various different models, you're probably going to see right away that at 100 plus miles, these are holding in really well, at least in terms of the outsole rubber in this, 4-foot area. And I guess it's speculation whether it's because I did a lot of the miles on treadmill in this particular instance, or it's just because maybe the material and the design of the outsole is a lot better this year, this time around. So, kind of hard to say. Anyways, yeah, I'm putting specs right here for the shoe, by the way. I probably should have made that clear. Let's see. Let's get into, obviously, the main culprit of why the shoe is officially dead. And it's unlike any sort of damage I've had before on the shoe, and that's why I'm making the video for it. So, on the inside of my right foot, this air zoom pocket right here, you can see it first of all on the outsole itself, but you'll also see it in the air zoom pocket as well. I have officially cracked the air zoom pocket, and you can actually hear it. Hold on. Oh man, maybe the volume's gone now, but look, I like flattened it. It looks like that Elmo face. I'm gonna post that Elmo somewhere here. Basically, yeah, the shoe is officially destroyed. Like, I was reading some comments saying that I could continue running in this shoe regardless, but there's a couple of problems. One, the shoe is definitely flat now. I have tried this in the past, and it just does not feel the same as having both air zoom pockets at all times. And two, I've historically gotten a major injury because I was running with flat air zoom pockets in, again, the right shoe when I'd be slightly over supinated in this case, and this air zoom pocket was the one that popped. Again, like I'm saying, this is interesting that the inside one popped in this particular instance, but yeah. So the idea here is when I was running with these last year in 2021, around this time, if not a little bit sooner, I had popped this air zoom pocket, and I was maybe 24 hours before I was heading to, I believe it was Florida, to live for a month there and do some racing and whatnot. I had popped that air zoom pocket, and when I was running supinated, because the air zoom pocket was like gone and there was no support on this side of the shoe, I did over supinate to the point where I like really hurt some of the peroneal tendons in that area and pretty much started the gradual downfall into my, tibula stress fracture that ended up happening months later on. It could have even happened then, and I just would have not known, and it would have not been as painful. It's hard to say. The point here is that even though I popped the air zoom pocket, some people will say, you can keep going. I disagree strongly, and I don't recommend anyone continue running in the shoe if you've popped the air pocket. If you are within like Nike's membership program and you have that 60-day returns, and you popped it within 60 days, just return it and get a new one, or just get a refund and buy something else that's coming out new, like maybe the Pegasus 39, the Infinity React 3, whatever else is kind of just in the market that kind of tickles your fancy. So that's my take on that. Or if you really love the Tempo Next Percent, just get another one. That way you've bought your Tempo Next Percent in I don't know. I'm sure there's somebody who's doing this where they bought their Tempo Next Percent in October 2020 and have only bought one, but have circulated the shoe every 2.5 months. I'm pretty sure that's a thing. If I was 7,000 IQ, I would have done the same thing, but their earlier models lasted longer than some of these models that are coming out now. So anyways, let's talk about some of the other weird things that have occurred in this shoe. So again, this is kind of up in the air as to how you want to interpret it, but the upper is a lot softer than its predecessors, and I'm not sure if this is, as a result of just the color or just the material cost benefit kind of thing. But the upper is a little bit soft, but it's not really drilling into the toe box as badly as the older models were. So that's kind of one of those things where I'm not really too majorly concerned about it. There is one thing that I did hear as a constant trend from other people with their Tempo Next%, is that the left foot in particular is a lot more loose than the right foot in terms of shoe design. And there's two possible things to consider and to factor in here is with it, right? One is maybe there is like, you know, a manufacturing flaw that could be the result of this, and that's why, you know, the shoe is a lot loose and maybe it's just a lot larger. But the second, I'd say don't quote me on this exactly, but I think when like a human develops, you know, in the early stages, like in the womb and whatnot, the right leg, I think, is the first leg that is produced, and then the left one follows. So what happens there is I think the right is a little bit larger than the left as a result. And that might be the case as to why like you're slightly loose in the left foot, is because you might have a slightly smaller foot or slightly smaller leg. Don't quote me on this. Let's have somebody who's like a human, you know, studies person or biologist in like that's watching this video confirm with me if this is the case, or if I've got both legs flipped or there's some kind of nuance that I'm missing here. Let me know in the comments below, right? So that's kind of the gist with two of the things that were kind of bad. The thing that, of course, is rolling really well is, of course, it has the same consistent, speedy-like feel in this shoe that I've always enjoyed and have always brought me back to the shoe in this particular case. So that's just a no-brainer. Like, I know that I'm going to return this shoe because I hate it right now that I popped the Air Zoom pockets. But I know in the future I'm going to come back to this in whatever new color scheme they present, right? The second thing that's also very good is, again, I've mentioned this at the beginning of the video, is that this outsole rubber is holding out so much better than the previous models. And like, again, I haven't broken it nearly as bad. And this could be as a result of, you know, doing a little bit more treadmill runs with it than previously. And I don't know, that could be one of the deciding factors, is that maybe the treadmill is a lot more forgiving than like running on the ground, for example. And then I guess the last bad thing with this shoe is that, particularly in this left foot, the Air Zoom pocket, like, it kind of was misaligned, and I've talked about this before. It felt like extraordinarily like misaligned, and every time I was running on the treadmill, I'd feel a major discomfort, like right under, like right before the ball of my foot, because it was like hitting the arch of the foot, like in this Air Zoom pocket area. So that might be a sizing issue on my side. So in summary, we do kind of have a same old story, you know, reaction to this shoe. Again, like, there's nothing new about the way, like, the overall principle of the shoe has changed, in the sense that the Air Zoom pockets are usually the first to give. The outsole rubber kind of falls shortly afterwards. But like, again, there was a couple of good upgrades on this shoe that put it in the right direction for, I guess, durability and feeling more comfortable in a more endurance kind of standpoint. But there's a few things that took it also a couple steps back. So overall, again, the Tempo Next% does have a special place in my heart, but the problem is the shoe is over-engineered in a way where there's a lot of complex moving parts that still need some, you know, some calibration in order to have like the perfect speed distance shoe that this thing really should be, and should be able to, obviously not legally on like you know, an elite standard point, but like it should be able to compete with the Alpha Fly. It should be able to compete with the Vaporfly Next% on that playing field. And just because of its lifespan, it's so difficult, and I don't know, it's just unbearable. At least for runners with like my style stride and my kind of cadence, it's not good. And I know there are people who have maximized the shoe and can go like 400 plus miles, and they're like, I have no damage on the shoe whatsoever, Phil. I don't know what you're talking about. So if you're one of those people, you know, good for you. I'm glad you're able to maximize the life of this shoe, but as of right now, I just can't. And I will find myself back to this shoe eventually, but right now, this pair has to go, and I'm just going to take my refund and try to invest in a different running shoe that comes out. Or I just save my money for once. That might be a really, like, 7,000 IQ move, so I don't know. Anyways, that's all I've got for this video. So again, sound off in the comments your experience with the 2021-2022 model of the Tempo Next%, and yeah, you know, let me know if the review helped and whatnot, and if you guys have any shoe ideas in the future, let me know down in the comments below. So thanks so much. See you guys in the next one.